you can go downstairs. आपका 2-3 यूनिट्स का वर्कबुक्स बचा हुआ है. So we'll start off with the revisions on क्या trade transport. Okay, because of the class durations we couldn't do that, and I will need 2 sessions for political geography. I plan to have 1 session on Monday afternoon and the second probably Tuesday, but I'll let you know. Otherwise the topics are done. Okay? So those who have done the population geography, yes, unka alag link बनाओगे आप? बन चुका है, बनाओगे. So online also you can drop out. We'll have a new link for you guys. So maybe we'll start your revision at around 12:30 types. Okay, sorry, I couldn't inform. It was my mistake. I didn't tell them earlier. Yeah, hi all of you. Good morning online. Okay, the rest all are settled now. Okay, thanks. So benefits of those who have joined us new. Okay, let me explain what I was discussing about and how this goes. Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon, right? So, the new students and even old, just remind them here. See, in your preparation, okay, while I don't discount the importance of hard work, okay, there is, there is a general misused word called as smart work. Okay, why I'm saying misused? Because most of you do not know what it means. Okay, सुनने में smart लगता है तो हम बोल देते हैं. And to be very honest, I have also been guilty of using these words in the early phases of my career and working. Okay, so just to share with you, okay, where I was working earlier, okay, Wajiram and Ravi, I spent almost good part of my life there. I respect the institution a lot. Its mentor, founder, okay, they have, and not just Ravindra Sir himself, even the other teachers. One thing I've been fortunate about is I got very good teachers at a very important stage of my life. Be it school mein, colleges mein. Of course, not all of them liked me. Okay. Because of my belligerence, I was a bit brash. I think to some extent, abhi bhi thoda bahut hu brash. Okay, but back then I was a bit more with hormones running and also energy there. But I got some very good mentors. Somehow they would see maybe I can do something different. I hope I lived up to their career, their expectations. So that ways, okay. So when I started working, just fresh from attempts. Okay, lot of ambitions था, तो गुस्सा भी था, okay, frustration भी है, plus excitement भी है that I will do well in life. So I had an interview, and Ravindran Sir in Vajiram was very, very diligent in choosing teachers. I don't know how it works now, but back in my times it was very tough. So he sat down with me talking. He said, Shabbir, how do you plan to do well in your career? What's your vision of work? I would flamboyantly declare, sir, I believe in a lot of smart work, and I'll do this. He said nothing to me. He just kept quiet, listened to me, smiled at me. He said, okay, all the best, start your work. And I began. And I asked him then, sir, how long will it take me to establish myself as a teacher of some reputation? Because the institute was very big, is still very big. I was grateful I got a break in a good institution back then. And they had students. So how much time will I take? He said, Shabbir, if you work well and nothing goes wrong, I think 1 year, 1.5 years should be good enough to establish yourself. I said, ठीक है, 1 साल की तो बात है. Attempt दिया हुआ है 4, so 1 साल में एम ही खत्म हो जाएगा. Guys, it took me good 6-7 years. Okay. So in that process, okay, मुझे याद आता रहता था कि फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू में मैंने क्या बोला था. A smart work, I told him. And I was, और तभी when I said smart work, no, something did not feel right. It was a bit of arrogance, audacity, trying to outsmart a man who has seen it all, done it all. Okay, he has worked for 30-40 years. He definitely knows life more than me. Me youngster आके okay, बैठ के आराम से smart work करते हैं सर. आप जो कर रहे थे सब बेकार कर रहे थे types. It didn't feel right when I said it, but I was ठीक है. But that kept ringing in my ears always, and it was so heavy on me. I came back to him after a couple of days. Maybe a year के बाद I told him, sir, I owe you an apology. He said, what? I told him the incident. So you asked me this and I said this. And the reality is, there is nothing called as smart work till you have done hard work, dirty work first. And he smiled. He says, yes, I remember you told that to me. Okay, but then you were in a phase where if I told you anything, you would come back more smartly at me. Okay, so he said, my wisdom said, keep quiet, the boy will learn. If the boy is really smart, he will learn. If not smart, fine, he'll give one more gyan to somebody else. So beta, आपके preparation life में ना, okay, smart वही बनता है जो पहले धक्का खाता है. Okay, you will get hit, you'll have your failures, you'll have your frustrations, you will feel you know it all. Okay, there is, okay, I'm just alerting you guys here. Okay, a very famous curve hai. You start your life here with huge ambition, expectations, and okay, phod phad dena hai. What these Jaishankar types? Okay, Modi ji hame bulao, hum sambhalte hain. ठीक है? You will start here. You will quickly drop down like this. Okay, and then okay, some of you will give up somewhere here. And give up के अलग अलग reasons बनते हैं. System खराब है. They don't deserve me. Okay, क्या ही extra हो जाएगा? Okay, I will get bullied by the politicians. Lot of corruption. You will find reasons. Some of you, okay, I don't think I am good enough. Okay, मेरे साथ लाइफ में कुछ अच्छा नहीं हुआ है. Okay, खराब किस्मत, बाप माँ का मेरा. You will keep cursing yourself, but you will slide down. 100% you will slide down. Okay, somewhere you hit rock bottom. Okay, and then the climb again starts. You will not come here, because this is actually absurd. Okay, you will rise up. Okay, you will learn something. You will go through a process, and somewhere, okay, probably you will achieve what you are working for. So this is called as the valley of depression. You all will go through. I'm just cautioning you here. It has happened with me in any new initiative. When I began my preparation as a student, वो यहीं पर था. यहाँ पर it went even further down. Okay. Then you rise up, you fall. Okay. When I began teaching career, I was here again. Okay, all teachers are nonsense. I am the guy, rock star. Okay, again you drop down. I began with smart work. I said, नहीं, अब तेल निकलेगा पहले मेरा. Again you come back here. When I begin Edukemy as an institution, I thought I know everything about how to run an institution. I began again here. और मेरा journey अभी चल रहा है. I'm not yet back here. I'm waiting. Every time you feel life can't go below this, life pushes me further. ठीक है? So it will happen with all of you. I think एक law है. I don't know if you have heard this law or not. Anybody knows this? Go back and check. Okay, go write a value of depression and check on your Google. इस law का नाम क्या है? It's a very famous and applies for all of you. Each one of you will apply this. Okay, ultimately, some of you will have the fortitude to bounce back. Some of you will decide this, and that's also fine. In this process, if you decide this is not what I want in life, but objectively so, perfectly move on. Okay, it's like, it's not that you have taken not Murphy's law. Okay, it's not that you have taken one decision, you can't redo it. ऐसा भी नहीं है. But before you do that, make sure you have done justice to your efforts first. Okay. Generally for me, it should not be before 1 year or one good attempt. Otherwise, it's impulsive. Anything that I do, yes, Dunning-Kruger curve, correct. It's called as Dunning-Kruger curve or Dunning-Kruger law बोलते हैं इसको. Look it up, पढ़ो इसके बारे में. Okay. So give yourself some time. Okay. और धैर्य से. I know all of you are in a hurry. Hurry that UPSC is missing a great talent by refusing you. Okay. UPSC कल ले लो, परसों ले लो हमें. Okay. I know all, but okay, there is a process to this. There is a method. You compromise the method, you'll only delay your selection. People who take 2, 3, 4 attempts, of course, बहुत reasons होते हैं operate. One big reason is most of them are compromising their methods. Most of them have dreams. देखो, if अलग-अलग level है, you know, the highest level is fantasy. The second level is what I call as dreams. The next is there are ambitions. And then there is okay, a purpose, a goal, and a milestone based. So when I say fantasy dreams are those where you think you want to do it, but not willing to work towards it. ऐसा hardly कोई होगा इंडिया में who doesn't want to be influential and powerful. All those running TikToks and Reels, no, essentially they want recognition. Okay. Why will you make all absurd Reels and share on the media? Why? Because you want people to look at you, applaud, appreciate. You want your place in the under the sun. ये तो reason और क्या reason हो सकता है? Okay. So if I am asking, most people ambitious हैं. All of you want to do something big in life, okay, but not willing to work. I call that as fantasy. Okay. Second, I want to do, I'm willing to work, ambition, but maybe proper milestones are missing. एक महीने में कितना हो जाना चाहिए? In 6 months कितना? So ambition, okay, becomes valid when you start having proper milestones. Goals होना चाहिए, matrices. I'm a firm believer of the idea, what you can't measure, you can't improve. What you cannot objectively establish as progress or not progress, okay, you cannot improve that. You need some numbers. Numbers like how many books have I read? How many pages notes I have made? How many answers have I written? How many articles am I reading? How many concepts am I memorizing? कुछ numbers चाहिए. Maybe map it. To qualify geography, I need to know 2000 concepts. Syllabus को देख के देखो. 20 topics. Each topics में approximately there are about 15-20 topics, subtopics हैं. Sorry, 20 units. 10 paper 1, 10 paper 2. Each unit approximately has around 15 to 20 odd topics. 400-500 आपके topics हो गए. For every topic, there are at least 6, 7, 10 concepts linked हैं. So if you map it, maybe 1000 or 2000 such concepts हैं. Then you start moving. Okay, then I must finish off concepts, tick mark, ये हो गया, not required. So that work you have outsourced to me. And trust me on that. I'll take you in a process. So I have my goals. कल कितना पढ़ाना था, आज कितना पढ़ाऊंगा. Okay, I will move fast right now, or I'll do something more to probably orient you. Most of you think orientation happens in half an hour. No. Orientation happens across 1 week, 10 days. Orientation is the mindset. Okay. And that's where you know a teacher, whether you can work with a teacher or not. Not that I'm good or bad. There are many things definitely I'm good at, and there are some areas which I probably am not very good at. But as a teacher, can you gel with me or not? You get married to a lady, to a gentleman, whatever. Okay. You cannot be marrying a machine which is perfect. Anybody you're working with, marrying, okay, or partnering with, उनके खामियां होंगे, pluses हैं, minuses हैं, positives हैं, negatives हैं. But you know, oh, this person I can manage with. Like, it'll be nice to have a partnership with this person. तो वैसे ही teaching and taught का relationship होता है at the psychological level, and that requires 1 week, 10 days sometimes. You hear me, you listen to me, you go back and introspect, or a gut feeling hai कि okay, this guy I think I can work with, or no, he's not my type, I'll always have a problem, I must do somewhere else. So I have my milestones, I have my goals in terms of what I must do. You all must have those goals. So essentially I was talking about a very important part of preparation is you must have a process. And I say this in every batch repeatedly. My biggest complaint in training UPSC aspirants is many of you don't work like you are thinking aspirants. But आप लोग ना IAS, IPS, administrators, policy makers, you are the ones who will run the country, like you are part of the secretariat. You have to be a thinking person. You have to be somebody who can think, understand, and not shortcuts. So you must have a very good understanding of how things are taught. Why is Sir teaching this? Why he begins here? Why does he end there? Why he's saying book se padhai karna hai? So you must have an appreciation of the method and process. So this is what the process I recommend. The first step is your class is must. Although the technology that we have today has gone towards recorded lectures and videos, it's a good resource. But I feel recorded lectures say education process is not complete. Because recordings में ना वो lethargy आ जाती है. हाँ recording है देख लेंगे बाद में. That urgency is not there. Urgency happens when if I miss the class ये छूट जाएगा. The worst, I think the disservice we have done for you guys is giving you handwritten notes and giving you recorded videos. That's why आपके पास content का भरमार है, education is dipping down dramatically. So for you guys who are part of the class, your commitment is class में आप आएं. तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, बीमार होके कोने में बैठ जाओ. मन नहीं कर रहा पढ़ने के लिए, कोने में आके बैठ जाओ. सर बहुत गुस्से में है, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड है, नो वरीज. फ्रस्ट्रेशन ला के कोने में बैठ जाओ. Be in the class. Not being in class, you'll dip down very fast. Be in class. Then there are some assignments we have. And one of the key assignments I will keep repeating on is make your daily summaries. This is a daily work. This is the only way of knowing whether you are studying or not. आप जो क्लास में आते हो, it is not your effort, it's my effort, I am standing and teaching. Because आप क्लास में बैठ के you can always switch off. सर को जो बोलना है बोलो. मैं तो कल की के बारे में सोचना है. Okay. Whatever sir can say, he can say. I am concerned about global peace. Okay. I am thinking about new age technologies. It's possible, right? The only way I know आप काम कर रहे हो is if you are making daily summaries. One of you asked me yesterday, after the class, how much time should we give for preparation? At least 1 hour per class. अगर 2-2.5 घंटे का क्लास कर रहे हो आप, you must give 1 hour so that okay, that study is consolidated. This is very, very important. इसके बाद okay, there will be some book readings also. कुछ chapters होंगे. I'll tell you, like I said yesterday, I'll open up the book and teach you from where you can refer. ये भी बहुत important part. So this book content must get into the summary eventually. If I have taught you 10 things, okay, it's possible the book has 1 or 2 things more I have not told. आप add कर लो. The book can have a good diagram. Add that. The book can have a good, say, data facts. Add that. In some cases, you'll realize कि sir, this is very good. Book not required. हाँ छोड़ दो आप, no problem. But have a feel of the book. Okay. After the books are done, okay, then we say this is one topic. We say population is going on. Then you have got unit completion exercises. So I have taught population. What I'll do after that is we'll have one session on PYQ discussions. सारा आंसर नहीं बता पाएंगे, but you'll have an idea. क्या सवाल पूछा जा रहा है, what's being asked, what type of phrasing of questions, you'll have a familiarity there. In some cases, I'll discuss some answers also with you. The PYQ discussion. The second is, I will give you a dump of answers. I call that as L1 and L2 answers, just straight answers. Like, I'll give you a dump of 10, 15, 20 answers. I'll say, by heart this. Okay, chupchap ratta maro, samajh mein aaye nahi aaye, I want it memorized and written again. Okay, then we will have a session on workbook. So for every unit, I have some workbook. You'll sit down with me or Ajay sir. Like generally, Ajay sir who takes it. He will revise the whole unit with you. Okay, kya padha, kitna yaad hua, make some notes. This is a type of a revision that we have. That's what your friends have gone out for. Some of them have left. So last couple of units mein, because the units are back to back, I could not do some workbook sessions. So you all will have the sessions here. Okay, and once this gets over, okay, then we say your unit at the foundation level is in control now. So most of you, without me pushing the idea, I hope you can appreciate what we are doing here. I don't understand how anybody can control the content only with the class notes. And some of you, the notes में नहीं बनाते हैं आप. Online guys in particular, आप बस videos देख के छोड़ देते हो. It's of no use. You don't make summaries for anything. That reading is useless. I read NCERT, I didn't make jottings. वो time बेकार कर दिया आपने. I read articles, I have got no jottings. इस अच्छा था नहीं पढ़ते सो जाते आप. You would have used the time even better. Okay, so you have to move from class towards summaries. Anything that you read must be in a summary form. Yes, Bhumika, all of you, online also. All these methods are also for the online students. NCERT, Hriday, इसी में आपको घुसाना पड़ेगा. NCERT is a school book. I am very critical of anybody who says, sir, NCERT का course करा दो. Okay. I feel if somebody has to be taught NCERTs, you are in the wrong line. गलत जगह आ गए आप. We're talking about graduation master's level. NCERTs कर रहे because school में आपने ढंग से पढ़ाई नहीं किया. That's why. You have to find your time, your interest in doing the NCERTs. We will support you on this. Ajay sir is there, I am there, Banke, Uttam. We'll do something there. Okay, you can go and ask them if you want to, but that has to be your work. Okay? Okay, Aniket. Okay, fine. You send a message on the WhatsApp. That's okay, no problem. No, I have got no PDFs to share. Okay, please don't make my piracy official like that. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Books आपके पास नहीं है. It'll take time to reach you. Don't worry. Be with the class notes. Whenever you have the book, you can study that. How can we manage optional with GS? Pankaj, पहले तो course join करो. Okay. Then I'll tell you आगे का ज्ञान. There's no formula there. You just start working, you work out. ठीक है? So I hope you have understood the process now. Okay. So starting today itself, start summarizing work. Okay. And what does summary look like? I'll talk to you maybe after the class. Okay. I'll spend some time with the new students here. Aniket, I'll do that with you. Don't worry. Today is only textbook. Okay. Acha, Nidhi, if you have done geography of population, then you join the workbook. Otherwise, stay with me in the class. For you, I can have a session even afterwards. Okay. Right. Okay, let's start off now. So yesterday's topic is population geography. And I took up one topic which was about the origin and spread of the human species. Okay. So I hope you know 4-5 important terms. Evolution from the apes, the hominids, who are the great apes, who are the hominins. Okay. And from hominins, we have Australopithecus, Ramapithecus. We had the Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo ergasters, okay, then ultimately Homo sapiens sapiens. They start arriving around 3-4 lakhs before years approximately, okay, for quite some time till about last 50,000 years ago. Neanderthal man and okay, the Homo sapiens are known to have coexisted. Why is here? तो आप कैसे पढ़ेंगे? ऐसे ही पढ़ेंगे? Can I do something different? Can I get you a taller chair maybe? Are you sure? Okay, bless you. Let me know if you need something else. ठीक है? Okay, ये भी help नहीं कर रहा आपको? It's not working. Okay, okay. Thanks for being patient. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so Neanderthal man and Homo sapiens, they are known to have coexisted till around 50,000 years ago. Then, for some reasons, Neanderthal man, okay, goes extinct. Homo sapiens we have, and I also mentioned Denisovians also. So, in your geography, I do not need too much of this. Have some names, terms, have an idea about the time when they appeared, okay, they got extinct, okay. That was one discussion. The second discussion was, how did they spread? So we have got no 100% confirmation of how this must have happened, but most of us believe that the origin of man probably happened somewhere around the areas of Victoria Lake, the big lake in Africa, okay, Victoria Lake, one of the largest freshwater lakes of Africa. Victoria Lake is source of river Nile. Okay, which Nile? Blue Nile or White Nile? White Nile. Where does Blue Nile come from? Lake Tana. Lake Tana in Ethiopia. Okay, there's another line also. If you know this Nile, एक और third भी है, called as Black Nile. सुना है आपने? It's called as Atbara River. Okay, so there are 3 Niles. White Nile is the longest one. Okay, the largest one from Lake Victoria. So that area of Lake Victoria is where probably it happened. As Uganda, Burundi, we have this South Sudan region. Somebody mentioned Tanzania also. Okay? That's where it originated probably, and there was a lot of evolution happening with change of the climate. As it became drier, it became more of grasslands. This man must have been arboreal life form first, comes down, Homo habilis, Homo erectus were among the first ones who start walking and exploring, and they start moving out of Africa slowly, gradually. Maybe they moved out of Africa around 1 lakh years ago approximately, maybe. Okay. Again, ये सारे speculations हैं. You read different books, you might get different data, but these numbers are fine, more or less. And there were 2 streams. One streams of the Neanderthal goes towards Europe, okay, and the rest have moved towards Asia. And I give an idea about when they reach India around 75,000 years ago, South Asia, they continue towards Pacific region. देखो, can this help you? Okay, see if it helps you. Okay? Okay. So they reach around the Pacific Islands around 50,000, 40,000 years ago, and that way the populations must have spread. Okay. And in this process, we discussed one very important concept, which is the concept of evolution. When I say evolution, there are 2 aspects of evolution. One is the biological evolution, where our physical attributes start changing. Okay, biological is organs are changing, my posture changes, okay, the way I operate, metabolism changes. That's entirely a biological process. It's a biological process, S-shaped spine, okay, biped locomotion, opposable thumb, a more diverse dental structure, we have higher cranial capacity, okay, plus, okay, we also have a stereoscopic vision, okay, where the eyes are in front, okay, and my eyes can measure the depth. It's a very important part of living in an environment and controlling it. So carnivores generally have this sense of depth better than the herbivores. ये biological evolution था. this must have been over with, maybe, not over to nahi bolenge, maybe at pretty good stage by the time we became Homo sapiens sapiens. But then it took us time to evolve culturally also. I think the achievement of human species is our cultural changes. No other life form has come anywhere closer to Homo sapiens sapiens in terms of culture, which is our ways and norms of living, our language, the way we interact, the activities that we do, the way we modify the environment, the way we have developed and organized ourselves as groups. That's a very important part of evolution. So what makes man far more adaptable, far more capable of managing environment is not simply our body. Physically, we actually are weak. Physically, we are not as agile, not as muscular, a very small lifespan. A human child requires 12, 13, 14 years before the child probably is good enough to manage on his own. Baki animals, 1 month, 2 months, couple of days maybe, they are strong, they are fit to run, hunt and survive. So man as a species is actually very weak physically. What is responsible for our domination, the way we dominate environment, is our cultural evolution. Comes from our brain thinking and critical analysis of situations. So in the evolution of man, I mentioned the idea of the biological evolution, and the idea of cultural evolution. In the cultural aspects, I include a group living, I include the development and expansion of a language and communication, we include agriculture, and we include the use of fire. ये बहुत important है. As long as I did not have agriculture, I was at the mercy of the nature. With agriculture, I can do 4 things. I can grow what I want to grow. 1. Number 2, I can grow at the time I want to grow. I can have irrigation, I can have some support systems, और कभी भी मैं grow कर सकते हैं. I am not dependent on the seasons alone. The third very important thing is, I can also grow more for the future. I am not at mercy कि जब खाना नहीं है तो मर जाएंगे. And fourth thing, with agriculture, I also started trade. You grow rice, I grow potatoes. I grow agriculture, you make my tools. The barter system, economy starts with agriculture. Right? So agriculture is a very important part of our social evolution. And fire is a potent tool. Fire to defend myself, fire to clear the forests, fire to cook my food. So fire makes me more powerful. And this aids the process of group living. And some of these events, we mark it to the phase called as the Neolithic Revolution, approximately around 10,000 years ago. ठीक है, यहाँ तक I believe all is good. Why using Sudosh? When will geomorphology start? Around August something. Okay, fine. If evolution theory is right, can I say every species are trying to get some robust type of features? Yes, absolutely. Every species is evolving. ये अलग बात है, I cannot see the evolution in my lifespan. It takes time. We say dinosaurs died suddenly. Or suddenly will also be 10 million years. So yes, as any species evolves, it starts acquiring better features. Now, whether they will become human-like or not, that I can't speculate. Did we attain peak of evolution? But ये तो debates हैं. Maybe yes, maybe no, I do not know. But yes, evolution is continuous. Neolithic evolution is also, yes, this is one of the first agriculture revolutions. ऐसे बहुत सारे phases हैं. You can say so or no, not an issue. I think no other conceptual doubt. Anybody offline any doubts here? Feel free to ask me, Let it be my business to say Abhi mat पूछो या बाद में पूछो, but you ask a doubt if you have any doubts. Okay, anybody offline, any doubts here? Okay, fine, let's move on then. Now I'm giving a concept to you, I'll take up again afterwards, but in geography में important है. But सुन लो पहले, listen to this. This is a concept called as a human ecology. This was given by American, okay, by the name of Barrows. इस पे questions पूछा भी है. It actually is a topic of geographical thought, but I'm mapping it here. Human ecology says that, or this approach says that geography is the study of human ecology. Okay, so human ecology as a concept is defining the scope of geography. By the way, what does the word ecology mean? Ecology is a study where you study environment in terms of interlinkages. The ecosystem क्या है? Okay, we all know एक forest होता है, and then I'm saying I can study forest ecosystems. We all know there are oceans, and we can study ocean ecosystem. So what's an ecosystem? Ecosystem is anything we studied in terms of relationships. So when I say a forest ecosystem, imply forest may how things live with one another. The tree, the insect, the birds, the animal, okay, the water, the river, the climate. When I focus on interrelationships, I call this as the ecological approach. Urban ecosystem, I'm studying urban area in terms of relationships. Okay, so India's economic ecosystem, India's banking ecosystem, India's transport ecosystem. Whenever I use the word ecosystem, I'm emphasizing on what? Relationships. Okay. So what I'm saying is that this man said geography is human ecology. What he meant in saying is that geography studies man in relation to the environment and his relationship, whatever we do. One aspect of what has happened is our evolution. Okay, so human ecology is part of appreciating how man-environment relationship has been responsible for the species who we are, the species as which we are evolving, and the species as which we have been moving, spreading, and probably occupying different parts of the earth today. Okay? Right on two lines, give a heading. Neolithic is also called, yes, I've answered your question. Yes, correct. A relationship, okay, is about ecology, correct. Okay, write down now. Human ecology of Harlem or H. Barrows. Human ecology of H. Barrows is about studying geography as a discipline. Studying geography as a discipline, okay, analyzing man's relationship with the environmental components. Man's relationship with environmental components. Human ecology is a way of establishing. Human ecology is a way of establishing that man is one of the functioning elements. That man is one of the functioning elements that makes up the diversity of the earth. That makes up the diversity of the earth. The consequence of this relationship, next sentence, the consequence of this relationship is seen as, the consequence of this relationship is seen as the evolution of man as a species. The consequence is seen as the evolution of man as a species. Put a hyphen, put a dash. Both his biological evolution, both his biological evolution and also his social adaptations and evolutions. His social adaptations and evolutions. Human ecology also includes how man in his interaction with the environment, it also includes how man in his interaction with the environment also modifies it to suit his needs, to adjust with his limitations, to suit his needs, to adjust with his limitations, to grow and develop. Is it okay, all of you here? So this is a very initial discussion here. Okay, I wanted to introduce the idea called human ecology. Geography kya hai? It's like, I'm asking a question, what is India? So some can say India is a society. Some can say India with its constitution is a political system. India is a nation in making. And some can say India is an idea also. एक सोच ही तो है. Okay, a country coming out of colonial exploitation, एक thinking ही था. Can we have a country where we live in diversity with some norms, rules, a country committed to some value systems that we cherish? So I say, what is geography? Different people have defined geography in different ways. This man says geography is human ecology, the study of man in relationship with the environment. Okay, now this is something others have also told, but this man is using a new phrase. Something like, आपको notes banana hai. I'm sure you all know this. The same thing, I use one more phrase, make your summary sheets. So, Harlem Barrows is not giving us a new idea, but it's trying to capture the essence of geography through this idea. Geography is study of man in an ecological relationship with the environment. Geography is a human ecology. So whatever I have studied as a part of man's adaptation is actually a human ecology concept itself. All fine here? Okay, so that's one concept. Yeah, they can straight away ask you these questions, okay, directly. What is human ecology? It has been asked earlier. Vartika, Darwinism is not same as human ecology. Okay, fine. He's asking me, is it same as Darwinism? Okay, let me, don't write it down, just know this. Dekho, in man-environment relationship, okay, there are two things. One is man adapts and also man modifies. ये दोनों होगा ना? When I say evolution, it applies to what? Adaptation or modification? Man modifies environment. Man adapts according to environment. So जब evolution हो रहा होता है, what's operating? 1 or 2? 1, not 2. In 2, I'm modifying. I am feeling cold. Adaptation is I grow long body hair. Adaptation is I go into a winter sleep, hibernation. ठीक है? Or I shed my leaves because winter is dry. Modification is I feel cold, make a house, put on a heater. That's modification. So Darwinism is part of this one. Okay. And human ecology says दोनों important है. And दोनों में actually this has become more important today. Okay. Adaptation, maybe I am adapting, who knows? There's some genetic changes happening. I'm not aware of it. I cannot see it. Okay. I'm sure as a human mind is changing. I can see every generation having a different mindset. And the ability of generations to compute, calculate, think is changing. So pakka change ho raha hoga, I'm not saying no. But what I can see more is man modifying environment. So Darwinism is the first one. How does man adapt? Okay. But man-environment relationship today is more about how does man modify. So human ecology acknowledges Darwinism, but Darwinism is not the only basis of the interaction. They answered your question, okay, Vartika, concept who is related to environmental determinism. Yes, Aditi, you're right. Okay, this is environmental determinism and this is more of possibilism. Yes, you've done geographical thought, you know this now. Is Darwinism a part of culture evolution? Not the way we see Pankaj, no. Darwinism थोड़ा biological है, but I can apply Darwinism to social aspects also. वो फिर अलग हो जाएगा concept. Yeah, good evening. Okay, gaming channel. Wow. Okay, I feel like we have a game here. No issues. Is it fine, all of you? Yeah, I can move on now. So I have initiated the process of population geography. Take up a fresh page. Now we are discussing distribution of a human population. No questions asked on this yet, but then syllabus में है, पता होना चाहिए, maybe in brief. Okay, the distribution of a human population. Man's modification of nature creates diversity. Pravash, yes, but in more cases we destroy diversity. So when man modifies, man का intention होता है generally when we modify things, the intention is to simplify things. Okay, all of us, you know, I think it's a kind of instinct. Okay, so एक formula बोल दो, हर जगह apply कर देंगे. Sir, सिर्फ one book is enough. Okay, one book से can I finish everything or not? Okay, one efforts से सारा कुछ हो जाएगा solve. Let me grow one food, all my hunger problem is solved. Okay, so we have this tendency. So he's asking basically, does man's modification create diversity? My answer is generally no. When I'm modifying, my instinct is to simplify systems. And when I simplify systems, I destroy diversity. The agriculture, remove all plants, animals, insects that I think are harmful. Replace all of that by rice. Simplify the ecosystem. Remove all animals, tiger, lion, giraffe, remove all of them. Have one type of grass and only one species of cattle grazing, and I will own and consume that. Okay, so when I modify environments, it's more about compromising diversity rather than encouraging diversity. Yes, correct. So our agenda for uniform civil code bhi wahi hai. Okay, which is we want to simplify the diversity of the social laws of inheritance and whatever. Itne sara hai, it's a problematic thing. Let's have a simplification of one laws. Okay, I think we can move on from there now. Okay, fine. Okay, so now distribution I'm studying, where do people live, in what capacity, and why, and so on. Okay, so quick facts here. The first is our human population approximately world का कितना है? About 8 billion is the world's population. And we also know, okay, almost 3/4 of the world, so almost 75% of the world is oceans. And oceans is not where we live. So actually, hamara land is, okay, 1/4. And then again, good parts of land is not where we live. Okay, we don't live in Arctic region, we don't live in Antarctic region, we don't live in much of the Sahara areas. So अगर देखा जाए, okay, the human habitation, whatever we have on the board, your pen should keep on moving. Okay, so if you like what I write down, that's a bonus. आप entertain भी हो रहे हो, ठीक है? But your work is जो कुछ भी बोर्ड में है, into your notes. ठीक है? So approximately, I repeat, we are a population of 8 billion, and 3/4 of the world, the oceans हैं. The oceans are not inhabited. That's not where we live. Land makes up 1/4. Okay, but there is lot of land which is not used for living actually. We don't live in Antarctica, we don't live in Arctic regions, we don't live in good part of Sahara, we don't live in the mountain heights also. Generally, mountain heights beyond, okay, 4,500 or 5,000 meters onwards is not really occupied for living. You might be there for adventure and mountaineering, वो अलग बात है. Okay, so if you look at our human habitation, okay, is actually less than, okay, 15 to 20% of, okay, of the land itself, where we actually live comfortably. Not even 15-20% of the earth nahi. Okay, I'm talking of 15-20% of the land. Okay, so this is, okay, where we live consciously and carry out our life work. Where we live consciously and we carry out our life work. What I mean by this? See, I can go to Antarctica on a mission. For that matter, I can go on moon also on mission, right? Like, it doesn't mean I live on moon. Doesn't mean I live in the space. I can go to Arctic region and have a research camp maybe. I can have a small underwater observatory also. But हम actually रहते कहाँ पर हैं? Where I can perform my life activity. I can make a house, I can have farming, I can have industries. Okay, I go to work, I come back from work and have my family, my children, we can have a community. That's actually 15-20% of the land alone. Other areas I may occupy, but not for proper life activities. Okay, down here, the rest of the land. Okay, I hope you have got all the points. Yeah, 8 billion population. We don't live in good parts of the world. Okay, and where we live and perform our life activities is a very small part of the land. Okay, so down here, right next, there are areas on the land that we occupy for various activities. The areas on the land we may occupy for various activities, but those are not the areas. Those are not the areas where we actually live. Where we actually live as communities, performing life roles. Performing life roles. तो ऐसे life roles का मतलब होता है I live in a group, I do activities, economic activities. I have my family. I go to work, come back from work. I have my friends. I go out in the evening for maybe leisure. Okay. Not all parts of earth are capable of supporting man and his life roles. But yes, I can always have one land where I only go for farming, come back and live somewhere else. I can go to a land only, probably I have a research observatory. I can go to a land maybe for a type of a small vacation retreat. So I've got some camps in the mountain heights. उसको हम life role locations नहीं बोलते हैं. ठीक है? So not all parts of the earth is used for life activities there. Okay. Next is, what are the factors? What are the factors that determine? What are the factors that determine? Okay. Habitations on earth. What are the factors that determine habitations on the earth? Okay. So factors mein, one is the natural factor. So natural factors, we say climate बहुत important factor है. Wherever we have good climates, okay, we will have people living more. Wherever climate adverse, people will live less. So climate as a factor, terrain as a factor. Okay, is it rocky area, flat area, mountain heights हैं? Okay, terrain as a factor. Okay, factors related to, okay, accessibility. If I can't reach an area, again the chance of occupying that is less. What are the natural factors? Climate as a factor, terrain as a factor, accessibility as a factor, factors that are about locations, disaster vulnerability. A big factor है. Places which are vulnerable to earthquakes, volcanoes, repeated floods, again I won't live there. Okay, these are the natural factors. Climate as a factor, terrain as a factor, accessibility as a factor. Can I reach that place or not? There are places inside Himalayas, I am sure, which are good to live, but पहुंचे कैसे? Okay, what train, what plane, what railways, what bus, what routes? Can I reach the place or not? That is accessibility. Accessibility is the ease of reaching a place. Okay, factors such as a location's vulnerability to. Factors such as locations, vulnerability to disasters. Generally, the disaster-prone areas will be having less populations. Khaskar earthquake vulnerabilities, okay, or we can have desertification vulnerabilities. The land is converting. Please keep jotting these points down. Okay, desertification, the area is becoming a desert. Desertification vulnerabilities. We talked about earthquakes and volcanism vulnerabilities. Generally, those areas will have lesser populations. So can you imagine one paragraph on this? Okay, that human population is not uniformly distributed. Okay, and that most people live in very small parts of the earth. Ab India hi dekho na, although I say India is the world's largest population, but it's not that people live everywhere. Good parts of Rajasthan is almost devoid of sizable populations. Himalayas mein hardly any people there. The marshes along the coast, people don't live there. Kutch regions mein nobody lives there. Okay, it's not that India mein everywhere people live, right? So one big reason is the natural factors. So next point, put a star mark and write down. Okay, Aristotle. I hope you know this man. He is everywhere. Okay, बहुत फुर्सत था बहुत कुछ पढ़ने के लिए. Okay, so Aristotle, a Greek philosopher. I'm going back to almost 3rd, 4th century BC. Aristotle, in his time, gave a concept called as ecumene and non-ecumene. He gave a concept called as ecumene, E-C-U-M-E-N-E, ecumene, and non-ecumene. Okay. Ecumene means places which are habitable, places where man can live. These are habitable locations. And non-ecumene is where people cannot live. He had divided the earth into ecumene and non-ecumene. Ecumene where people can live, and a non-ecumene where people cannot live. And the basis of this ecumene, non-ecumene was natural factors. This concept of Aristotle is based on natural factors as main determinants. Based on natural factors as the main determinants in habitability. Okay. So what this means is, we miss kya aapne? I said this concept, ecumene, non-ecumene concept jo hai, it's basically about the natural factors that determine the habitability of a place. It's about natural factors that determine the habitability of the place. In fact, Aristotle, in his concept had said, the equator is non-ecumene. He said, equator is so hot. He thought that way. It's so hot, nobody can live there. People will burn to death. He had divided the earth into places where people can live and where people can't live. Okay. Now, one point here, dekho. When I'm saying ecumene and non-ecumene, it is the environment deciding what man can do. Environment is bad, man can't live. Environment is good, man can live. Environment favorable, I can have my habitations. Environment unfavorable, I will not be there. Ye jo approach hai, where environment determines everything, is called as environmental determinism. It's called as environmental determinism. Environment determines human activities. Environmental determinism. Write down. This ecumene, non-ecumene concept. This ecumene, non-ecumene concept is a concept in environmental determinism. The ecumene, non-ecumene concept is a concept in environmental determinism. That acknowledges a more superior role to environmental factors. That acknowledges a more superior role to environmental factors. To environmental factors. So, इस concept में, in man-environment relationship, the more powerful agent is environment. So, man-environment relationship we have in this, environment is more powerful than man. Then I call this as environmental determinism. Yeah, Vartika, I'll come back to those concepts afterwards. Okay, all good here? But see, now we say that this is actually not the complete story. Because see, if man lived only in the areas which are favorable, then I would not have people living in the mountain tops also. They don't live in the highest peaks, but we do have habitations in the most remote parts also. We also have desert dwellers. We also have tundra dwellers. We have people who live in flood areas. Think of Assam. Assam is a flood region. ऐसा थोड़ी वहां आप लोग रहते नहीं हैं. They find ways how to survive with the floods. There are earthquake areas. Think of Japan. Okay, Tokyo. Okay, Tokyo is one of the most earthquake-prone regions of the world. But crazy population there. Their density of population almost touches 10,000 per square kilometers. Right? So it's not that people do not live in unfavorable areas entirely, which means the idea that Earth is non-ecumene is not correct. Okay. What we say now is that as of now, maybe we don't have technologies to modify that. But if I can modify that, I will start living there also. So if you look at dense forest, can we actually live there? We cannot. What we have done is, I had an axe, I had some machines, cut the trees, flatten the land, convert into houses, roads. अब हम रहते हैं वहां पर. So Earth का कोई part भी non-ecumene नहीं है. And for that I have to expand it. Maybe no part of the universe is non-ecumene if I have technology to live there. Okay. So analysis may move on. However, okay, the more okay, acceptable notion is, however, the more acceptable notion is that man has the capability of, living and occupying almost any part of the earth. Living and occupying almost any part of the earth. Man can, of the earth, stop, next sentence. Man can modify environments. Man can modify environments. Therefore, no part of earth is actually non-ecumene. No part of earth is actually non-ecumene. It's a matter of time. It is a matter of time when man can have technologies and ability. Matter of time when man can have technologies and ability to live and occupy some of the most unfavorable regions also. Some of the most unfavorable regions also. Now, you know about Las Vegas? Las Vegas is the heart of the desert. Okay, for thousands of kilometers to begin with, no habitations. Okay, but it is man's ingenuity, our technologies, our vision that we had, our ability to probably modify things has changed. For that matter, you look at any a desert city of the world, part Sahara for that matter, in the interiors of Amazon forest for that matter, we have found methods. Okay, so abhi log rehte nahi hai does not mean it cannot be inhabited. The discussion here is that non-ecumene as a concept is incorrect. Okay, therefore, next point, therefore, human factors are perhaps as important, if not more important. Human factors are therefore as important, if not more important. Inhabitability of a place. Inhabitability of a place. Human factors are therefore as important, if not more important, okay, in the habitability of a place. So it's about what we do with the environment, that's more important than okay, what actually environment gives us. अगर ability है, I can make entire colonies under the water and live there also. If I have ability, can make space colonies also. It's all about technology ultimately. In some places, I might require less modification. In some places, I might require more modification. So now we say this non-Edukemy concept is actually incorrect. Okay. So what are the human factors? What are the human factors? Okay. One very important human factor is technology. One is technology as a human factor. A very important human factor is even cultural factors. Okay, इसमें आपका mindset भी आ जाता है. You belong to which culture, mindset? Or you belong to a culture which is exploratory, willing to take risks, a culture that encourages, go out and explore and conquer. You know, see, this is always a debate that while lot of travelers came to India, why did Indians not travel elsewhere? Okay, we have Marco Polo, we have Ibn Battuta, we have got Huan Sang, we have got Fahian, when Alexander comes towards India, okay, we have got Mongols. इतने लोग इंडिया को आ रहे थे. Why haven't Indians gone outside? The answer is, we did not need to go outside. Who came into India? They came from deserts. They came from semi-arid regions. They came from areas which were very cold or very hot. They came from areas where there were no rivers, no soil, no agriculture. India में सब कुछ है ना. So if I am in India, why will I go outside? Fertile plains, the best of climate, conditions which have good soil, agriculture prospects, conditions where I can have a good range of economic activities. So in Indian culture, going outside was a taboo. If you cross 7 seas, you are now impure. Right? That's the cultural thing. Whereas in areas where resources were less, there the culture was कि जाओ, go explore, find new places, conquer new lands. Because आप कोई नई जगह जाओगे, those guys will not give it to you like that, no? So the culture encouraged कि go and conquer the lands. They were then expansionist. So as a culture, Indians believed, we don't need to do all of that. Now there are, we say, climatic reasons why people from Persia, Mongolia, Central Asia came into India. Whether Scythians, the Hunas, whether Bactrians, who ultimately became the Guptas, eventually in India. ये सब बाहर से आए. So a cultural factor also is a very important factor about where we go and live and where we occupy lands. Okay? So what are the human factors in habitation? One is technology. Second is culture and mindsets. Okay. Together this operates through levels of development. Together this operates through history of a place. Okay, write down these points please. The human factors are, one is technology. Okay. Second is cultural factors and mindsets. So this factor, this enables or it empowers, exploration attitudes, empowers exploration attitudes. Okay. The culture is go and seek. The culture is go find more land. I mean, back in those times, I'm sure it took a madman to say कि घर वर छोड़ो और निकल जाओ सी में. कहाँ पर? पता नहीं कहाँ जा रहे. Okay, for thousands of kilometers, water, and imagine the courage the guys will require. It's a mindset thing, no? thousands must have perished, okay, before Christopher Columbus discovers maybe the land called Americas. Okay, that's what encourages the exploration attitudes. Okay, ये भी एक important factor है. And I said these together operate as, okay, our levels of development and the history of a place. Write down. Write down. Okay, the technology factors and the cultural factors. The technology factors and the cultural factors operate in terms of, they operate in terms of levels of development, a history of a place, levels of development, one, history of a place, and third is, okay, deliberate policies and initiatives. Deliberate policies and initiatives. The government realizes कि बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ है दिल्ली में. Delhi has lot of crowding, right? So government makes a law. Law is you cannot have any industries here. Law is you cannot make high rises here. Law is these kind of lands are occupied for government ownership. Land है नहीं, and government says ये land ना, I'll give you tax benefit. This is a SEZs I have made. यहाँ पे बनाओ, I'll give you benefits. The policy tells me don't live here, come and live here. Policy says this is not right place, come and live here. Government says the policy is let me make a metro line. A metro line ban gaya. Now people start living along the metro line now. This is what is the planning policies are based on. Tomorrow government can make a policy. The policies हैं, the outsiders cannot buy land in Uttarakhand. For a long time, outsiders cannot buy, occupy, own land in Jammu Kashmir. Domicile laws होते हैं. The government can make a law tomorrow. You know, outsiders can buy a land and you can start resettling in some of those areas also. So how people live is through a range of all of this. Technologies, culture, developments, level, history, policies and initiatives. Okay, we can occupy lands because the government encourages those. Write down. Land use occupation and land ownership. Land use occupation and land ownership can be manipulated. Through deliberate policies. Okay. Law Okay, just a minute. Let me change the battery, please. Yeah, am I audible to all of you now? Right, Prabhash. So I was dictating, not the exact words, but I'm rephrasing it. Okay, that land use policies and land occupation can be manipulated through, okay, policies, laws, okay, and legislations. लिख लो आप लोग, all of you, नहीं लिख पाए. Land use and land occupations can be manipulated through, okay, policies, laws, and initiatives or legislation, whatever. All done online? An example I gave was policy related to urban expansion. Yes. Policies related to, likho, urban expansion. Policies related to resettlement programs. Policies related to urban expansion, resettlement programs. ठीक है? अच्छा, now human factor में another very important concept is conflicts. ठीक है? So think of Ukraine. Okay, there was a time when Ukraine was also having good populations and vibrancy also. Today almost flattened out. The same applies for maybe Israel and Gaza also, जहाँ attacks हो रहे हैं. So human factors also include, okay, conflicts. So conflict areas can witness depopulation. Conflict areas can witness depopulation, out migrations, depopulation and out migration. I mean, an example of policies, अच्छा example होगा. Do you know what's the capital of Brazil? Brasilia. कहाँ पर है ये? Where is Brasilia? Anybody knows? Okay. अगर ये Brazil है, okay, if you look at, okay, maybe let me draw this. देखो, in geography, whatever you say ultimately has to be explained through examples. South America, we have this Amazon river. Okay, this part of, okay, Brazil is all dense forests, not good to live in. This part of Brazil is all mountainous, highlands. Again, you can't live much here. This part of Brazil is swamps, not good. Highlands bhi hai yahan par. The best part of Brazil is this stretch. सबसे साउथ में there is a place called as Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo and its port called as Santos. ऊपर चले जाओ, you have got Rio de Janeiro. ठीक है? ये best part of Brazil है. Where is capital of Brazil? It is in the heart of the Amazon. Okay. वहां पर actually कोई रहते नहीं थे. But government said that if everybody lives here और यहीं बना लेंगे capital, what will happen? This area will get neglected. So Brasilia was developed consciously so that people will start living here. So this example of what's called as frontier capitals. वैसे, you know, in Pakistan, the bulk of people live where? Punjab and Sindh region. Right? Pakistan has 4 parts. A part called as Baluchistan, deserts हैं. Northern, okay, Pakhtunkhwa region, the regions of mountains, extensions of Himalayas. Okay. We have got the Punjab plains, extension of India's Punjab, and southern part of Pakistan is Sindh. The center of Sindh is Karachi. Karachi is Sindh region, and Lahore is Punjab. So when Pakistan is developing its own capital, okay, They say that if everybody lives in Lahore and Karachi, who will take care of Balochistan, who will take care of the frontier province? So they said, let us make capital as near as possible to India's borders in a new place, which is Islamabad. Islamabad was a very small village. Rawalpindi, Attock region tha. Okay, not really a big area. But they've developed that deliberately so that they counter whatever perceived threat they had from India. Okay, so this is a policy. Let people live there. I mean, if you look at the map of Israel, okay, so Israel ka map kuch aise hai. This is here, you come here, it's like this here, and ultimately something like this. Okay, and this is Jerusalem. Okay, and this is the area which is called as what? Ye kya hai? This is the river, Jordan. This is the West Bank. Okay, so ये जो Jerusalem में, okay, is Israel and maybe Palestine, whatever happens. So as a part of their policy, कि more and more land must be Israel controlled, okay, they have started encouraging people to live in West Bank. We will encourage you, give you funds, will give you military support also, give you free loans also, जाके यहीं पर घर बनाओ. 50, 60, 100 साल के बाद जब voting होगा, you'll have lot of Israeli population living here, okay, and this cannot become Palestine eventually. This is the, okay, this is one of the conflicts we have between the Palestine and the Israel governments. The Arab nations and Arabs want that this place must be vacated. If jana bhi hai, to go into your own country, and this must become the West Bank of Palestine. And one small strip here called as the Gaza Strip. The policies hain. Okay, who will live where? What type of, okay, occupations you will have in that particular place. Okay, so examples mein likho, write down all of you. Yes, an example of conflicts or policy based, inhabitations, example of conflicts, palak, khushi, I am repeating, an example of conflicts or policy based habitations are the development of frontier capitals. Such as Brasilia in Brazil, and Islamabad in Pakistan. Brasilia in Brazil and Islamabad in Pakistan. The objective was to inhabit an otherwise unoccupied areas. To inhabit an otherwise unoccupied areas, okay, for the spread of okay, political control, and better territory management. I must manage the area called as Pakistan territory, manage the area called as Brazil territory. Let us have a capital towards areas where otherwise people will not live. Okay? So that's an example of this one. Right, next. In recent times, the effect of human factors. In recent times, the effect of human factors is visible in migration trends towards urban areas. migration trends towards urban areas in search of better quality of life, employment and growth opportunities. Better quality of life, employment and growth opportunities. Okay, so urbanization भी है एक factor है. In India, okay, almost 30% of India's population is approximately about 34-35% of population. They live in urban areas. Okay, और urban areas कौन से? Okay, we have got about 50 to 60 major metropolitan centers. यहाँ पर the bulk of Indian people population lives. Delhi alone, Delhi NCR alone is approximately 15-16 million population. Okay, so ये big human factor है. I think you've heard about something called as, a rural out migration, right? The populations of villages are now leaving the villages. Why? Because not ऐसा नहीं कि village में पानी अच्छा नहीं है या village में soil अच्छा नहीं है. The physical factors are good in villages. The problem is lack of employment, a lack of food availability, lack of income opportunities. So why are some of you in Delhi, although back in your hometown, I'm sure conditions are much better? Who are in Karol Bagh is slums. Okay, they are urban sprawls, not habitable by Aristotle standards. Non-ecumene. Okay, that small room, which is slightly better than probably a small cupboard where you could have survived, right? Okay, and that's where two of you are sharing your rooms. मजबूरी तो है और क्या है? Okay, so why? Because maybe this area gives you some opportunity lacking in your own region. Okay, so why do people live where they are? We say natural factors important थे maybe, today they are not the decisive factors. The more important factors are the human factors. Okay, that's why I mentioned the trends of migrations, urban living, opportunities and so on. ठीक है, इस पे आंसर बन जाएगा आपका, all of you now. What are the areas, what are factors controlling distribution of human population? Okay, so now let us move into what is the pattern of population distribution. What is the pattern of population distribution? Kushi, you are unusually slow today. बार बार पूछ रहे हो, some words are missing out. All good and nice? या बारिश हो रही है तो बालकनी छोड़ के रूम के अंदर आ जाओ? Yeah? Oh, you are helping. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, you are alert in that case. Fine. So patterns of distribution. So patterns में we have locations with a very adverse population concentration. So pattern world का दिखता कैसे? How does it look like? Patterns, where there are locations with, write down, locations with very adverse population concentrations. Generally, these areas are areas with difficult natural factors. So I say, I'm not saying natural factors important nahi hai. They are important. Okay, but they are not the decisive ones today. Okay, so what are the areas where we have adverse, as in negative concentrations? They are areas which have difficult natural factors. So some areas are, the Sahara Desert, Arctic, Antarctic regions, includes mountains and areas of difficult terrain, areas which have swamps, areas which have a very high desertification. The land is becoming more and more poor quality. These areas have very adverse population concentrations. With examples, I have mentioned this. Right? Whereas, these areas I can also call as areas with low and sparse population. Areas with low and sparse population. बहुत कम लोग हैं, ठीक है? And then there are areas. Are you all done with this one? Sahara Desert. So for examples, Sahara Desert, Arctic region, Antarctic region, mountains and difficult terrain, so Himalayas, Alps regions. So whatever mountains you know, 2, 3, 4 mountains. The mountain areas are poor populations. Desertification, wherever we have swamps, जहाँ पर दलदल है, marshes हैं. So in marshes, if you know, in Brazil के पास में, bordering, is a marsh called as Panatal. Panatal is one of the largest marshes of the world. Marshes, daldal mein, who stays there? Then we have Eastern Europe में, parts of Poland and beyond, Russia के साथ में, an area called as Pripyat marshes. Pripyat marshes. Even here people will not live. Give some names. Panatal. Panatal are wetlands, one of the largest wetlands of the world in South America, bordering Paraguay and Brazil. Panatal wetlands. Pripyat wetlands, Eastern Europe में, Poland and Russia. Pripyat marshes. In India, the Kutch region, ये भी marshes हैं. The Kutch areas have marshes. जो run, anybody knows what is run in Kutch? What are runs? They are lakes, saltwater lakes. So the marshes के अंदर में, there are small lakes formed. We call those as runs. Panatal. Panatal is a wetland in South America, bordering Brazil and Paraguay. Then we have Pripyat. Yeah, Pantanal, same thing. Panatal or Pantanal. Then we have Pripyat marshes, Pripet. Eastern Europe, Poland and Russia. Pripyat marshes. In India, we have the Kutch region, salt flats and marshes. This is not what we have favorable areas for living. So swamps, areas which have desertifications, they have low and sparse population. The heading I'm discussing is, what is the pattern of distribution? A factor समझ में आ गया, a pattern कैसे है? The other side is areas with high and very high population concentrations. The areas with high and very high population concentrations. Locations with adverse concentration, low density populations, and areas with very high population concentrations. In this, I will go continent wise. So the areas are, one is South Asia, one of the largest population of the world, South Asia. India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. Second is East Asia. East Asia. This is Korea, China, Japan. South Asia is all the SAARC nations minus maybe Afghanistan is South Asia. So India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal is where we have the bulk of the population. South Asia. East Asia are Koreas, China and Japan. Then we have Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore and the rest. Okay, Southeast Asia. The fourth is northeastern US. Okay. These three are parts of Asia. South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia and Southeast, Southeast Asia is Indonesia. I hope those who have done the maps you understand this now. Malaysia, you can also add Singapore. Okay. You have got Thailand, you have got Cambodia, Vietnam, yes, which make up the bulk of the ASEAN countries. Right, you're right. Southeast Asia and northeastern US. This US is also called as the states which are referred to as New England states. This is one of the most urbanized areas of the world. Okay. The northeastern US is New England states. So states of New York, the states of Connecticut, the state of New Jersey, okay, the states of Rhodes Island, okay. These states, these are a very, very urbanized area, highly urbanized, okay, and very large population base. Northeastern US, and the fifth is Western Europe. Western Europe, which is Britain, Netherlands, which is UK, Netherlands, Belgium, okay, France, Germany, okay, Western Europe. Now, Western Europe is also one of the very urbanized areas. Not as urbanized as Northeast US, but ye bhi urbanized. Okay. Now, in this, if you look at the distribution, okay, East Asia is also urbanized. Japan, okay, and where we have China's main population, which is the eastern coast, okay, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Hong Kong. So if you look at China's map, okay, so something like this, aise arc banega. So this part here, yahan par you have got Beijing, a bit northward, sorry. Somewhere here is Beijing. Here we have got Shanghai. Here we have Guangzhou. Guangzhou. The old name of Guangzhou, anybody knows? Old name of Guangzhou is Canton. If you have seen older English movies or Chinese movies or Bruce Lee movies, usme the name is Canton, C-A-N-T-O-N, Canton. Cantonese term suna hoga aapne, Cantonese food. So the new name is Guangzhou. Guangzhou. Or yahin south mein you have got Hong Kong and Macau. Macau. So ye jo arc hai, ye bahut urbanized arc hai. Okay, SEZs, large ports, great number of cities, okay, and all of that. So this part, okay, South Korea, okay, North Korea, though not much there important. China and Japan. Japan, Honshu Island is highly urbanized. Okay, so in our distribution, we have got 3 pockets which are very urbanized areas. Write down, write 2 lines here. Rhodes Island, R-H-O-D-E-S, Rhodes Island is one state of US. Or bhi hai, Philadelphia hai, okay, you have got Maryland, okay, they together are called in US, that's Florida, okay, so in this part here, okay, so this part here is called as New England states. Northeastern US. Why New England? See, if you look at US, the migrants came from England first. Okay, so they migrate from England, they come and settle here. They call this as the New England. That's why a lot of places have the same names also. The England में Birmingham है, London है, यहाँ पर also have Birmingham and London. Okay, so a lot of commonalities here. These were the first arrival who came from Britain. Okay, they came and settled in this part. This is called as the New England states of the US. Okay, write a short note here in लिखो यहाँ पर down. In the population distribution, okay, both type of regions, in the population distribution, both type of regions, put a hyphen, okay, urban areas and rural areas. Urban areas and rural areas have high population densities. Urban areas and rural areas have high population densities. Urban areas have high populations. आप बताओ क्यों? Why? Better call it less. But so what does that do? What does that do? Quality of life is good. So करता क्या है? Why people live there? Because of in-migrations. Okay. Urban areas have high population because of in-migrations. In population dynamics, हम दो term use करते हैं. We say we have a term called as population dynamics. Dynamics means how does population change? In change, there are two terms. One is migration as a change factor और एक बोलते हैं natural growth. This is the birth rate and death rate ka difference. If more people are born and less are dying, I'll have a high growth. If less people die, okay, sorry, more people die and less people are born, I'll have depopulation. Okay? So in any place, when people are there, they could be because of this or because of this. So urbanized areas, okay, are the consequence of in-migrations. Correct. Immigrations. Correct. देखो around here. There are urbanized locations. कौन-कौन से हैं? Eastern Europe, sorry, Western Europe, okay, parts of northeastern US, and also East Asia. East Asia have high urban in-migrations. They have high urban in-migrations. We don't realize this. Fine, China has a per capita income which is more than I think $15,000 or $18,000. But China also has very high inequalities. The villages of China are really very, very poor. So all the people of rest of China, they end up in the urban areas. That's where the prospects are, that's where the economy is, that's where quality of life is. Okay. So these areas have high population because of migrations. इस फर्क इसमें एक और important point है that in East Asia and also for that matter in West Europe, the migrations are largely internal. Okay. उसी country के गांव से they have come towards the urban areas. From China, the poor population of the villages have come into urban areas. In Japan, the poor of the village of Japan have come to city of Japan. In case of US, it is the migration from international locations. ये एक फर्क है. ठीक है, right down here. In the US, the urbanization has included international in-migrations. This is also true for This is also true for some parts of Western Europe. This is also true for some parts of Western Europe. But in South Asia, in Southeast Asia, in South Asia, in Southeast Asia, and in East Asia, the migrations are largely internal migrations. The migrations are largely internal migrations. Okay, so in these three countries or in these three regions, okay, यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? Okay, the people of the villages, they're coming towards urban areas. Take all of you here. So within write down, internal migrations reflects inequalities within the country. Reflects inequalities within the country that results in a rural depopulation, and urban concentration. Rural depopulation and urban concentration. So that's one dimension. Okay? Okay. Next write down. Next point, bullet dal ke. In South Asia and Southeast Asia, and also in China, before the last decade, in South Asia, in Southeast Asia, and also in China, before the last decade, last 10 years, things have changed. Now you tell me, in these areas, which is more important reason for more people? Migrations or this? Natural growth. You have got higher birth rates. Okay, you have got more children being born. Okay, and this is related to agriculture society, related to a traditional society, somewhere lack of social development also. Right? Healthcare problems are correct. Women empowerment nahi hai. Okay. So if I compare Western Europe, okay, and what has happened for US and what's happening for these areas, okay, in these areas, South Asia mein, okay, India has more people because of farming communities, lack of education, lack of women empowerment. It's not that people from outside come into India, at least for the last couple of decades now. Write down. Okay. क्या लिखा आपने? Oh, because for China, write down. In these regions, natural growth. In these regions, natural growth. By the way, before you write down further, 2 minutes, Mani. Okay. So see, when I say natural growth, that's one reason. Yes, people are having high birth rates. But एक और factor भी है. Why does India have, or why does China have so many people? Because people have been living in India for 3,000 years. I hope you understand this. Australia, we did not know till last 200 years. America, we know for the last 300-400 saal. Right? You discover Americas in 1400s, 1300s. उसके बाद जो हो रहा है धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है. Okay. We did not know places like some of the far away places in North America. हमें पता ही नहीं था कि कनाडा में ऐसी जगह भी है. But look at Egypt, look at West Asia, Iraq and the rest. Look at India, look at China. These are ancient civilizations. If you look at population, no, in Asia we have almost 60% of the world's population. Why? One big reason is Asia has had more people for a long time. Okay, you have some of the oldest civilizations here. So people in India living for 3,000 years or 4,000 years, you're bound to have more people, no? Uske upar mein, you have got good conditions, farming, agriculture, plus rural life, plus lack of education. No wonder India, China, Southeast Asia will have more people there. So I'm discussing that what is the mechanism by which South Asia, Southeast Asia, and even East Asia, if you ignore China of last 10 years, China is almost what India was, right? Or what India is to some extent. So along with natural growth, the other factor is also a long history of human habitations and civilizations. इसके ऊपर ऐड कर लो the problems related to or issues related to agricultural communities, traditional living, and probably relatively lower social development. See, the answer that you write must reflect some understanding of concepts, why things happen, not merely where things are. Where things are, okay, city more, city small, a region large, region small. हमें analysis चाहिए. Why is it happening? Yeah, correct. Long history of civilization. तो आप यही लिख रहे थे, right? The reason is natural growth. Okay, natural growth along with, continue. Natural growth along with a long history of human habitations and civilization. Long history of human habitation and civilization. Okay. These regions have had people, for a longer time in history. For longer time in history. Yes, you're right. India में we had Indus Valley के बाद में even Ganga civilization भी important है. The post-Vedic regions were the Ganga basin. And that's a history of almost 3,000 years. But then Becker mentioned this. South Asia has seen Harappan civilization, the Ganga Valley civilization, Harappan civilization, the oldest one. Then the Ganga Valley civilization is largely post-Vedic civilizations. And China has seen Huanghe civilization. In China, the Yellow River, Huanghe civilization. Okay? The long history of people living. Next slide down. These regions have also a longer history of, agrarian societies, traditional lives and livings, and lack of social development. Agrarian lifestyles or history, traditional life, and also, so why agrarian matlab rural hai, so lack of amenities, development, education, lack of social development. In social aspects, a very important aspect is the status of women. If you ask me, one important factor that decides all the rates of growth is the women ka status kya hai. The women education, at the age at which she get married, the preference for the boy child or the girl child, the health of the women, ये बहुत important part है. Okay, in population dynamics. Lack of social development, which is inclusive of lack of okay, or lack of status for the women population. Why do we have these areas with more population? All fine here? Okay, fine. That's as much we can do today. So we continue on Monday then. Okay? Yes? Yeah, give me 1 minute. Yeah, please. बैठ के बोलो. Yeah? Yeah, when you say higher fertility rate का मतलब क्या? High birth rate, no? Yes, I'm saying yes. Yeah, please, all of you. Yeah, please. Can you all stop murmuring, please? But those populations were not like, when I say civilization, so no, when you say civilization, it is not people living. People तो living in Congo basin भी हैं, people living in Sahara भी है, people तो रहते हैं even पर Siberia. When civilization के कुछ features होते हैं. One important feature of civilization is settled agriculture, कि खेती कर रहे हैं कि नहीं. Okay. Second is whether they have trade or not. ठीक है? ऐसा थोड़ी है कि before Harappan कोई लोग रहते ही नहीं थे. Why do I say Harappa is a civilization? See his question, yeah, online students. One question of friends asked me is that lot of areas have had history of indigenous populations. Australia, we have got very old people living there. We have indigenous populations even in North America, what otherwise we call as Red Indians. ठीक है? तो उनको क्यों नहीं count कर रहे हैं? So our discussion here is, when I use the word civilization, it is not any people living anywhere. ऐसा थोड़ी है कि Harappan civilization time में South India had no people. No. When civilization, it has some properties. One is a civilization must have settled agriculture. A civilization must have trade. A civilization must have some kind of a script, writing, counting methods. Okay. A civilization will have social structure बन जाता है. High class, low caste, high caste. And this happens primarily with farming. So Nile Valley civilization, farming था. Mesopotamia was a farming civilization. So was Harappan. So was Wanghe Valley. Okay. So was parts of West Africa also. So even if people lived there, they were not organized civilizational status. Of course, kuch had tak there is a Western pejorative term also, but this is accepted. कि जहाँ civilizations होगा, they will have some kind of settled agriculture. Yeah, yes, there's more to that. I'll come to it eventually. Give me a few more days, I'll enter the topic of civilization also. Okay? Okay, all of you, we continue on Monday, the same process, and Monday, I hope you'll bring your books also, all of you. Okay, I have the 5th edition, you bring a 6th one, Human Geography by Majid Hussain. If you have, please bring it. We'll discuss this also. Bye-bye, all of you. कौन सा? तो नहीं, उसको अलग रखो. DDP is not cold desert. तो ये जनरल कर दिया डेजर्ट डेवलपमेंट. पर जो DDP प्रोग्राम है वो कोल्ड डेजर्ट नहीं. लद्दाख का अलग ही प्रोग्राम है ऑलटुगेदर.